And let's see if that looks good. Pull up on my phone. Awesome. Looks like we are good to go. Sound check looks good. Awesome. How's it going, guys? Today I am joined with the notorious and very famous Drunken Monkey, aka Ryan. Ryan, how's it going, man? I'm great. Very excited to have you on the show today. Drunken Monkey, before I go any further, Ryan, I should just call you Ryan. I'm just so used to calling you Drunken Monkey. Look at that, Drunken Monkey. Before we go any further, I need to know, Drunken Monkey, where's that coming from? Gotcha. Oh, okay, okay. So you DJ. How long did you do that? How long did you do that, DJ? Yeah.
Many years, like maybe like 15 years.
Gotcha. That's awesome. I just realized that I didn't have you turned up, but we should be able to hear you now. Sorry about that. You can tell I'm a rookie. Okay, yeah. We should be able to see you now. Sorry about that. Good to see you guys. Thanks so much for tuning into the stream. I am here with Drunken Monkey, aka Ryan. Sorry about that. I messed up the sound on my end. That's my bad. But again, Ryan just got done explaining that the reason his name is Drunken Monkey, that's his this is DJ name. So he DJ'd for a while. And how long did you do it again? Say that just one more time because that was my bad.
Yeah, I've DJed for more than 10 years.
DJ'd for 10 years. That's awesome.
Yeah, and
Yeah. So super cool.
I've DJed at like many spots. I've met a lot of celebrities that I've been on tour. Um, it was a good fast life, but I needed a change though.
Yeah, I feel that. And you're down in Florida, is that right?
Yeah.
Yep. So he is one state below me. I'm in Georgia, in Atlanta. So we're one state away. So DJ'd experience for about 10 years. How did you get into trading?
Trading, it it basically started out of like I opened an account with $25. No, it was $50.
50 bucks. Okay.
And this was just to see what it is, how it works, and everything else.
Right.
And out of boredom, because I love to stay busy. I always have to do something. I have to always be doing something.
Right.
And I made the 50 into 70. And it was cool. I mean, I did that for a couple of months, and then I didn't do anything with it.
Right.
I left it. A year later, well, not a few months later, then I realized, oh shit, I have $70 sitting here. I withdrew it. I took it. I'm like, oh, it's just sitting there for no reason.
Right.
Things happened. A year later, I went back. I'm like, if I turned 50 into 70, I could turn 500 into 700. So I
Probably a
put
fair
500
assumption.
back in, and for about a year, I turned that 5 into almost 9. I withdrew about 3, and I still have a 6K account, or 5K account actually now. But it was all just basically testing to see how everything works, and it kind of worked out. So that's good.
Yeah, that's awesome. I mean, compared to most people come into the market and they actually do the opposite. They start with a bigger amount of money. They'll come in with like 500 bucks or something and they'll lose the whole thing. So the fact that you went from 50 to 70, even though that's only 20 bucks, you actually made way more than the average trader does when they first get involved. So that's awesome. Did you have any sort of strategy when you first started, or was it kind of just random?
No, it was mostly random. I didn't know any trading at all. I haven't been from this world.
Right.
And but I mean, I worked at E-Trade before, but that's a little different. I worked in
Oh, okay.
customer service,
Gotcha.
um, helping people, with their accounts, but not really trading.
Right. Right.
Um, and then but yeah, I didn't know anything. I learned along the way, and that's kind of what with Forex, it's so easy to get into it because they make it so simple. I mean, it takes minutes to like just start up an account,
Right.
fund it. You could all get it done within a day and start trading right away.
Right.
Um, but like, there's so many things. Like anything that you want to do, you have to go get a degree. You get your master's, you get your bachelor's, whatever is it, associates, and you learn everything about it, and then you start doing it.
Right.
With Forex, it's opposite. You can just get in right away, and you learn as you go, which is not always a good thing because
Exactly.
there's so much involved with it. But with Forex, it happens a lot where people start doing it without knowing anything about it or learning everything about it.
Right.
And for me, I had to learn along the way, and I did lose a lot of money. All of the money I lost was profits, but
Right.
still, it's still money that I lost.
Exactly, because you put the time in to get involved with that, and it is an interesting point that you said there. That's so true that it really does take a lot of time to kind of learn this craft, and there is no barrier to entry, right? It's very simple to set up an account and get involved and start trading, but you really should almost put in that time and that effort into the education because although it's not a formal degree, this is something that you should put time and effort into to actually do successfully. It's crazy. It is so easy to get involved, but it's also because it's so easy to get involved, it's so easy to just go lose money. And without any sort of proper guidance or kind of exposure to what you're doing, it's really, really easy to just go in there and lose a bunch of money quick.
Exactly, yeah, because anything else that we do, any kind of job, anything that we want to do, we first learn about it.
Right,
We can't
exactly.
just you can't just go into a business and start working there. You have to know everything about it before you start working there. Same thing with Forex. We have to learn everything about it, or it's just guessing and doing this and that.
Exactly.
Um, so I mean, basically the same thing with me. I started. I did well. I get lucky is what it is, and people say I'm lucky, but I say I'm blessed.
Right.
Everything I do, and then I found you on Telegram, I think, and I don't know how I found you. I sometimes think about it, like, how did I find this guy? I don't know.
Yeah, I was gonna ask. I don't know how we connected either, but it's been a while. How long? Just curious. How long have you been with the group? Because I can't remember exactly when you joined. Do you remember?
Mm-mm.
It's got to been.
I know it's been a while. But yeah, and I remember though, I hit you up on Telegram, and I'm like, hey, how much to join this and that? You told me, and I'm like, okay, I'll see about it. Maybe in a month I'll have the money to join.
Right.
And I did have the money. It wasn't that. It's that I was looking around to see what I can get into.
Of course. Yeah.
I did some signals here and there. I subscribed to, and there's always, like you always say, people say that 90%, this 80%, they can get you winning rates, this and that, but it doesn't really work.
Right.
Uh, Eventually, I joined yours, and it was a test thing. Like I joined for a month. I think it was $40 for me to join.
Yep.
And to me, I looked at it as, okay, so if this works out, it works out. If it doesn't, I'm out $40. Who cares? I spend that money anyway.
Right. Right.
And I never paid you a monthly fee again after that. I just paid you once.
Yep. Yeah. You went ahead and joined the Gold VIP group.
Yeah, in 2 weeks I had to subscribe for the lifetime membership. So
yeah, that's awesome.
And the first 2 weeks there, I made a lot of money with you too, so it made sense. I'm like, why am I paying month to month when this is a great thing to be in?
Right. And I loved what you said there. You kind of said, you know what, I'm going to take this, I'm going to just try this out, I'm going to work with it, we're going to see how it goes. And then from there, you decided that it was for you. And what I liked about what you said there is most of the time when people are looking for some sort of community or team, they're looking for, like you mentioned, those 90% unrealistic gains that are going to be overnight success. I just give you X number of dollars and I'm going to get tons more back. And realistically, there's more that comes with that. You have to be willing to invest in your side of things just as much as, on my end side of things, right? If you just blindly copy or blindly follow, you're not going to have the understanding that somebody who pours in the time and effort does. And ultimately success is going to come with that time and effort. It's not going to come without any sort of effort on your end. And I think that's one reason why I wanted to have you on today, is because you're one of those people that's active. You're in the live streams almost every single day, a participant in the community, actively working with other traders and helping other traders. And that's the sort of person that's going to succeed in Forex. It's not the person who's just going to blindly copy.
Yeah. See, that's the thing, like, to blindly follow and everything, like, you have to know for yourself when you're placing this trade, is this a good trade or not?
Right.
There are people that want to just follow signals, and they're busy, and their mindset is only to make money, and
right.
They think they're just gonna do this and make money every day, and it's just they're gonna be really, really rich. But
right.
Like going back to the beginning, where you have to know what you're doing. You can't just throw your money around for nothing.
Yep.
And that's where learning about it and everything comes in.
Right, exactly. I mean, that's what people want, and unfortunately, to some degree, if you followed blindly, the signals that I've given out in the last, I don't know, 6 months or 7 months or however long I've been doing this, technically, if you follow them to the T, you would be profitable. But the thing that people don't understand, and I think that you do, and the other people who are serious about this and who are active participants in our community, they understand that sometimes you have to deal with some of the pain in order to actually get those gains. You know what I mean? It's literally the classical statement of no pain, no gain. And understanding that sometimes things are not going to be all sunshine and rainbows is part of the process of actually becoming consistently profitable. And you can do it eventually, and I'm sure that you're getting to that point now, and you may already be at that point. But by following along long enough, you kind of see the kind of mindset, the kind of day to day, what it looks like to build that consistency. It's not fun. I mean, sometimes it's fun, but most of the time it's dealing with trauma and dealing with problems and overcoming them and becoming successful. Would you agree with that, or?
Yeah, yeah, that's totally part of it. I mean, and then like saying like, people say give the man a fish, he'll eat for one day. Teach
Right.
him how to fish, he'll eat for a lifetime. Same
Exactly.
thing with your signals or forex or anyone's signal. You can take signals and you'll make profit that day, but if you know how to do it, you can do it on your own as well.
Right.
And you can also, before you take the signals, you know what it's going to do and not going to do, and that's your choice if you want to take it or not.
Exactly. Exactly. And that's the exact
And that's how
mindset.
you become more profitable.
Right, exactly. And it's almost like, let's say, that you're following a trader and you think, I'm going to follow this trader. I think they know what they're doing. There's probably some profits to be made here. But what you're doing by following somebody blindly without any sort of understanding of what's going on is you're basically saying, okay, they have some sort of machine, they have some sort of black box thing that's printing out money, and I just want to follow it blindly. But the problem is, without knowing kind of what's happening in that machine, kind of underneath the covers, if you will, kind of in that black box, if you don't understand what's going on, you are going to get questionable when things don't immediately go right, and kind of having that background and sticking to, okay, I'm going to understand what's going on in the machine. I'm going to try and put in some effort on my end to understand this, ultimately serves you back because you understand why things are not going right 24/7, and you have to be ready for that. Otherwise, you're just going to quit when things get tough.
Yeah, you'll know exactly what's happening, and how to. And that's where I know your trade management, your plan else comes. I mean, with trading, to make money, you can make it quickly with a few moves, and then so the first thing is to basically learn everything you can.
Right.
Second, you open the account and you start trading. Third, you make the profits. But the most main important to me is to maintain that capital,
Right.
like to keep that money. You've
Yes.
made the money, that's fine, but keeping it is the hard part.
Yes.
Because you will make money consistently, but there are times when you won't, and it won't go in your direction right away. So when it doesn't, how do you protect that money from leaving your account?
Yes.
And you've said this before too, like it's not a loser till you close it.
Right.
And if it's in a drawdown, you should have a plan on how you're gonna get out of it. Either you're gonna get out of with a little bit of loss, or you're gonna make just maybe $1 profit instead of thinking you were gonna make 100,
Right.
and get out of it, in a positive way. But to keep your losses minimum is the main thing. To protect what you have.
Right.
There are times you're gonna place a trade where it's gonna go straight into profit. It has happened to us a lot of times here. And there are times when it's going to go down and he's going to be there for maybe a week. But
Right.
do you have the mindset? Do you have the margin in there to hold that for that long?
Exactly.
It's not going to print you money every single day.
Right.
The way I look at forex is it's a long run thing. It's not just something that's going to make today and today only.
Right.
So I look at everything on an average. So if I made 4 days, I made on profit, and one day I made a loss, that's not a loss to me. To
Right.
me,
Exactly.
that's still a profitable week,
Right.
because in the long run I made money.
Yeah, and I love what you said there. I think that, going back to what you just said about you're not worried about how much you're making, you're worried about keeping that money that you brought to the table on the table. And I love that mindset. We say it again and again in our community, in our group, and all of that. You know, we talk about the fact that it's so important to talk about risk first, not reward. Everybody wants to, when they're new traders, they're coming to the table and they're like, how much reward can I get? And what you said showed the exact mindset that I try to teach everybody that I talk to about trading, and that is that we should focus on risk. Forget the reward. The reward will come if we can keep the money that we brought to the table on the table in the first place, right? If we can manage our risk, if we can protect our account, and like you said, when the things go down, sure, we've had great profits. We've had a lot of trades that just shoot into profit, and it's fantastic, and that's amazing. But those are easy. Anybody can succeed if they have the occasional winner, right? That's easy, you know, mindset wise, psychologically, it's easy to have a winner because, you know, it's just like, you know, I've just gained a bunch of money. It's hard though when things go wrong, and that's where it's more important to consider. It's not about when you're right. It's about dealing with when you're wrong. And I think that's super, super important. I love that point that you made.
Yeah, it's yeah, to protect your money, because that's only it's kind of like, you know, you have to live to fight another day.
Exactly.
You have to have an account to trade another day.
Right.
If you're spending the whole, you know, like I lost a lot of my profits, but I never blew an account.
Right.
But, you know, that a lot of it was trial and error because I wasn't sure of what I was doing. Now, you know, with this group and everything else, I've learned a lot of, you know, account management ways to like to manage my drawdown. I mean, you have someone like Eddie, you know, in the group who's this guy. You know, if we talk about this guy, he's a married man. You know, he's got a kid, and he's got kids, wife, everything. He's got a full-time job, and he started trading as a hobby, and he knows everything there is to know about, you know, trading, and he places good trades. But even the best traders always get a drawdown.
Yep.
This guy will make a couple grand in a month, but also have a drawdown of a grand, and he'll sit there and he'll watch it for weeks and weeks and weeks. He will not, you know, sell. He will not get rid of it until they turn blue.
Right, and he'll deal with the trades, just, you know, masterfully. And that's what most people do not have the stomach to do. If they don't see immediate blue on their account, they think that the trade is bad. They think that, in my opinion, I don't know if you agree or disagree with this, but I don't believe there's such thing as a bad trade so long as your trade was, you know, taken in the context of your trading plan.
Exactly. You get thrown into situations to deal with. You have your plan and you know exactly what you're going to do, no matter what the market does.
Right.
It's your plan that you have to work in order to make it work for yourself.
Right.
Everything is not, you know, just you know, a snap of finger. You do this, it happens. Even in Forex, you have to work. You're sitting in front of a computer. But it's still work. You're clicking buttons, but it's still work. It has strategy. There's analysis. There's a lot of things that you need to do in order to make something work.
Right. And most of it, I would say, is psychological. It's kind of, you know, one of the biggest parts to me, you know, about being successful in trading is learning to, and I've said this in my videos and my live streams, and it's all about mastering your own psychology. It's about mastering who you are, understanding when you come to the table as a trader, if you don't have your head set, if you're not straight in your mindset, you're going to fail out as a trader because sure, it's great when you're winning, but as soon as things get tough, the demons in your head start going crazy. And if you don't know how to control them, if you're not psychologically strong, it's going to be a tough ride for you.
Yeah. And I think one way to separate your Forex trading with real life and not have it stress you so much is what most people say: only trade what you can afford to lose.
Right.
I look at when I put that 500 in my account, my thinking is, okay, I'm gonna put this $500 in a savings account which pays high interest.
Right.
And that's all this account is to me.
Right.
It's when it started making a lot more money, I said,
right.
Okay, this is what's gonna get me retired. But this is money that I can put away and not touch. I have a full-time job that pays for all my bills.
Right, exactly.
This I'm doing, and even though in a year I've, you know, a little bit of money, but it's still a learning process. It's a learning process on a daily basis. Even the best, you know, still keep learning because the market changes, environment changes, you know, everything, economy changes, and that changes the way things are done.
Right.
So to me, it's like it's a high-paying savings account that just keeps paying interest to me. That's it.
Yeah, I love that. I love that, a ton because so many people they get so emotionally attached to their trading account because it's money that, like you said, they should be able to lose if they had to, right? It's part of that learning curve. But people come to the game losing money that they need to keep. And the first thing that people ask me a lot of times when they're asking, to join the group or something is they say, how much money do I need to trade with? And I say, as much as that you're willing to lose, really. Because especially as a new trader, even if you're following signals, sometimes you can still mess it up because you over leverage, you can take too many trades, you can, there's just a long list of things that you can mess up on, especially when you're a newer trader. And I think that's a great way of putting it, is that it's kind of a high interest, account that you're willing to lose if you have to, but preferably you don't want to. And you've been, in the past, I've watched you go from, kind of a newer trader to exponentially increase in skill and mindset and even demonstrating and helping other traders along in the community. And to me, that's what it's all about, is we're kind of building, it's like a factory of successful right-minded traders, kind of breaking down all of the noise and nonsense that Instagram and YouTube and all those people selling the Lamborghini courses and whatever, it's kind of breaking that down and getting it back to reality and creating real traders, real consistently profitable traders that know kind of the mindset required to succeed. And that's why I wanted to have you on the podcast. Again, thanks so much for being here. And let me just real quick kind of take a look at the chat here. I see a couple people tuning in. We've got Jova in here, Heath, we've got Abdul, Nicholas. Good to see all of you guys. Nicholas says, it's the face of Drunken Monkey. It sure is. He's been in the streams for quite a while, and here he is in person, repping the shirt and everything. For those of you guys who are just tuning in, he mentioned that was his DJ name. He DJ'd for 10 years. That's crazy awesome. That's very, very cool. And Daniel says, hi, Nick. Good to see you. Top of the day to you. Good to see you, Daniel. Thanks so much for being here. Again, here with Drunken Monkey, a.k.a. Ryan, a long-term member of our team and a contributor to what we do every single day. He's active in the community. And like you mentioned, this is a long-term game. And what I love that you just said, Ryan, is that you mentioned that this is something that, yes, you've been doing it for a while. You're starting to see some profits, but that's not what your main concern is. Your main concern here is that this is something lifelong. This is not something that we're going to do for 6 months and we're going to make a bunch of money and then we're going to quit. It's something that we're learning as a team. We're investing in ourselves, investing in our community, and long term, we want to see dozens and dozens of people doing this for their entire lives, right? Building that long-term agenda as traders.
Yeah, exactly. It's an income thing that that's gonna, for me, like this is kind of a way out in the future.
Right.
We all have our busy lives where we're doing our 9 to 5 or whatever it is that we're doing. Extra money is never a bad thing.
Right.
And I always say, like, of course, like everyone else says, money can't buy you happiness, but for me, money can buy me a bunch of shit that'll make me happy.
Fair
right?
enough.
So that's what I need money for, and
Right.
that's what everyone needs money for. Or you need it for, if you look in the future, you have kids, they're gonna get married, go to college, cars, this and that. There's always expenses, and this is that extra income that can always help with that.
Right.
Forex is it's a great way because you can do it anywhere you. It's on your phone. You don't really have to pay that much attention. As long as you know what you're doing, you can trade once a day, you can trade once a week, and still make money as long as you got the background behind you.
Right.
You just have to know, basically what you're doing, and then that's why the education people keep jumping into it without knowing, all the things that they need to know, and that's where people, end up losing money and get discouraged. But even going back to DJing, when I was like maybe 12 years old, I went to Radio Shack. And I bought a mixer, a 4-channel mixer.
Yeah.
I put it in my room. I did not know how to use it. I did not know what to do with it. Barely knew how to turn it on. And it stayed in my room for a year.
Yeah.
I went to an event where a DJ was using the exact same mixer that was sitting in my room. So I stood next to him. I looked at it and I learned. I learned from him. I went home. I started using it. And all of a sudden, I know how to use it. And we went from family parties to big events and this and that, and I've even DJed at Vegas and clubs and all that stuff.
That's awesome.
And that's all. You just have to learn. The system is there,
Right.
but without knowing how to use it, you're not gonna be able to do anything with it. Just like my mixer, it just sits there. but unless I know how to use it, I'm not gonna be able to make any money off of it.
Right. And it took you time, right? It sat there for a while.
Yeah.
It sat in your room without activity. You saw somebody else employing it the right way and you said, hey, I can do that. And you kind of took the time, you invested in the same thing with anything, not just Forex, not just DJing. Everything in life is like that. It's like if you want to be successful at it, it doesn't happen overnight. And there's so many people that want it to be overnight. You mentioned that it's a potential way out for you, and I love that because it is really a way out. It's a potential way out. But I love that you pointed out, just like with the mixer, it's not something that's going to happen overnight, and you're not even worried about the money right now. I love that because if I could get half of the people that I talk to not worry about the money, we'd have 200% more traders that were actually consistent because everybody's worried about the money. You know what I mean? It's that's what everybody's concerned with. But the fact that you're not, the fact that, of course, I mean, it's money and you want to make money, but the fact that that's not your primary goal is to learn and master your craft as a trader. And everybody has their own style. You know, everybody has their own, individual way of how they trade long term. Nobody's the same, but you're mastering your own craft in this, just the way that you did with that mixer. That's where success is going to come out. That's how you're going to get to Las Vegas when it comes to trading. You know what I mean? It's all about that long-term discipline, long-term consistency, and actually putting in the time. And I love that you put it that way. One other thing that I wanted to mention, one time you literally said, and I love this, I literally wrote it down somewhere in my journal one time. You mentioned that the reason you trade, the number one primary goal, of course you mentioned that it's a way out, but the way you put it was that you want to be able to sit on the beach more often just because of your trading. And I loved that quote so much that I don't know exactly how you put it, but I wrote it down in my journal because if we could get more people to think like that, we'd have a lot more consistently profitable traders.
Yeah, and that is the ultimate goal because I mean, if when you go to the beach, you're you're one with everything. You're one with nature. You're free. Your mind is free. You're not thinking about the everyday hustle that you have. Whatever it is, either it's drama or it's whatever it is you're involved in, that's eating you up. But when you go to the beach, you're free.
Right.
So if I were to able to just trade and make money and have money, I'd be able to go to the beach more. So
Exactly.
that is one of the motivations that I use for myself. That when I go to the beach, which I go once a week, and I'm sitting there and I'm like, this is amazing. This is so nice. I'm not worried about anything. My mind is free, this is like a way to detach yourself from the world because
Right.
we're involved in this world from the moment we wake up to the moment we go to sleep. Everything we do revolves around what happens in this world,
Right.
what happens in our little world with the people around us, with our friends, family, money, work, whatever it is. Where our mind is always busy.
Right.
The beach is where you get to actually sit and clear all those things out. So to me, yeah, to make forex money and forex money doesn't take that much time. The main thing obviously is once you know how to do what you need to do, you don't need to be sitting in front of a computer 24/7. You can do this maybe 5 hours a day or even less, still make enough profits and be able to do whatever it is that you want to do later on.
Right, exactly. And truthfully, I mean, especially when you get into kind of swing trading basis stuff, primarily, I love to swing trade. That's my bread and butter. You've been in the group for quite a while. We couldn't even figure out how long you've been in the group, but I love to swing trade. I do some intraday stuff as well, but like you mentioned, you don't need a lot of time on the charts when it comes to kind of once you get into your grind, kind of know your own style. You don't need to sit there all hours of the day unless you're an extreme intense scalper. But personally, that's not myself, and I don't think it's you either. That intense scalper life, to some people they love it, and to me that's not particularly what I like to do. But it really can, forex money, as you put it, I love that. Forex money can get you on the beach more, and that's, to me, money's not going to buy you happiness, but sitting on the beach, if that's where you're happiest and forex can help you get there, that's what it's all about. And I love that. I love that you put that way.
Yeah, no, I scalp. It's a fun way to make some quick money, but it's also a fun way to get caught in a big drawdown.
True.
Um, and swing trading, I get bored very easy.
It
It
takes
wasn't
patience for
easy for
sure.
me to like adapt the swing thing, but once I joined your group, you sit it, you used to, you place, because I'm always busy, so it works for me as well,
Right.
where I can place the trade and just watch it, here and there to see what it's doing. But if I have a lot of time, then I can be on there. While I have a couple of swing trades, I can also be at the same time scalping a little bit,
Right.
and still work my account that way.
Right. And I love that because that's kind of what the flexibility of trading is. You can be shorter term if you want to be. And it doesn't matter what your style is. It comes down to, you could make your schedule ideally fit around your own style. If you need to take 4 or 5 hours a day to trade, which to me seems kind of like a lot. And personally, when I look at the charts, I probably spend 2 to 3 hours max a day. That's including intraday and potentially looking for swing trade setups. I do the usually the morning streams are about an hour, so that's an added hour when I do those. But for the most part, it's not extremely time demanding unless you want it to be. It's really flexible.
Yeah, but it's also not healthy, because then you start over trading, and that's all you're doing, and you're looking for one chart to another chart to another chart, and sometimes being greedy isn't a great thing either.
Right.
You should set yourself limits on how much you want to make, and once you reach it, you should just call it quits, start the next day.
Right.
There's always should be a plan. There should always be a goal, and stick to it, and you'll be fine. And that way you don't get caught in situations either.
Right. I love that. It's all about discipline. It comes back down to, the same thing that got you from your bedroom to Las Vegas is discipline. It's kind of picking up the same thing each day, kind of making a little progress and stopping. It's not about constantly pushing all the way and enforcing trades and over trading, like you mentioned. That's a huge problem for so many traders is, they get caught in a loser or something and they feel they need to really, really ramp up the number of trades that they do to try and to play catch up. And that's oftentimes what gets people into a lot of trouble. So I think that's a really, really good point. Ryan, you know that we have signals coming out in just a little bit. I'm going to take some time pretty soon to go take a look at the setups, and I'm also going to make our daily analysis video for members. Real quick, I want to just make sure that there's no pressing questions here in the chat room. Looks like we're good. Good to see you, Gary. Thanks so much for being here. Good to see all of you guys. Thanks so much for tuning into the stream. I know there's going to be a lot of people that also watch this back. Guys, again, sharing this the mic with Ryan today. Awesome little podcast that we did. Ryan, thanks so much for being on. I really do appreciate you taking the time, and I know we'll see you in the community.
All right, man. Thanks.
Ryan, see you. Good to see you, man.